I hope you're ready for some absolute top-level StarCraft 2, because whenever these two pro gamers face off against each other, it always delivers. It's happened many times over the last couple of years. These two, I mean, I've casted them many times myself personally as well on this YouTube channel, but the games are always absolute bangers. So today it's time for a best-of-5 series, and spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade, map number 1 in the series, playing with the red Zerg drones. We have the winner of IEM Katowice of this year, which makes him the current world champion of StarCraft 2. Of course, that means we have none other than Reynor and his opponent in the opposite corner, and actually his nemesis. I'll discuss that a little bit more in just a second, but playing here with the blue Terran SCVs from France, we're looking at Clem's main command center. So Clem's Terran versus Zerg is absolutely ridiculous, okay? So, I mean, I can tell you that, but let me actually try and pull up the stats, right? So I just had a quick little look. Clem has played against Serral 6 times this year, and he's won 5 of those series. He played once against Rogue, and he won that match as well. He played twice against Dark. Dark ended up winning once against him, so those are top-level players, right? All top-level Zergs. Against Reynor, who's considered to be one of the very best, he has played 12 times, not including this series, in 2021, and he's won 11 of them. Let that sink in for a little bit. Clem's win rate in Terran versus Zerg is ridiculously high. So a couple of days ago, I casted Serral versus Traprite from the DreamHack Finals. And I basically went on and on and on about how good Serral's Zerg versus Protoss is, right? I mean, some of you probably noticed it, that, you know, I'm a bit of a Serral fanboy when it comes especially to his Zerg versus Protoss. So, Aligulek, which is a statistics website for StarCraft 2 that keeps track of all of the pro games that are being played, it assigns a certain rating to each of the pro players' matchups, right? So for Zerg versus Protoss, Serral's Zerg versus Protoss, that is, it gives a rating of 3,355, right? Which is incredibly high. Clem's Terran versus Zerg is 3,507. So a good, like, 150-something points above Serral's Zerg versus Protoss. Clem doesn't really seem to lose Terran versus Zerg currently. I'm not entirely sure exactly what Reynor has got in store for us here today, because, I mean, the thing is, right, Clem doesn't really die to stupid stuff. He's extremely good at just playing macro, and, you know, cheesing him out, I don't think that's really going to happen. So there's no denying that Reynor is going to have a tough road ahead of him, but, I mean, he's Reynor, right? So I think we should be in for a really fun series. Now, I do know who ends up winning this one because, I mean, it was played during a premier tournament. However, I haven't seen the games yet myself, so I'm excited, man. As you may have already noticed, I always get excited whenever I get to cast these two. Pesky little bit of Reaper control here. He really wants to get that creep tumor. Instead, he will settle, I guess, on a... Ooh. He was thinking about it. He'll settle for a Zergling, it seems. Classic opener here, though, from both of them. I'm expecting a third hatchery to come up relatively quick. Yeah, drones have been pulled out of gas. Should be able to get a third hatch out now that the queens are at the front. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we do have that 1 barracks into 1 factory into 1 starport as well. So no quick 3cc right here from Clem. Double gas as well, so he's definitely going to be able to get himself some tech out relatively early on into this game. Looks like in game number 1, both players, at the very least so far, are just kind of, you know, testing the waters a little bit. See where we're currently at. See how we're feeling today. I mean, obviously a lot of... link speed is not done yet. He doesn't have that many links. He actually tried to cut a corner here. Normally you add on a couple of Zerglings when link speed finishes. I mean, those Hellions are obviously not going to make it out. The question is, how much damage will they be able to deal? Any drone here is nice. Just mining time lost is already pretty good. Alright. So 4 drones in total and probably 100 or so minerals worth of, like, lost mining time here. Oh, and actually 2 Hellions right there at the natural expansion as well. Apparently sniping another one of those workers. In the meantime, it is a follow-up right here as well with a Banshee with the cloaking field. Second tech lab has been built too here by Clem. So he's going to be able to go into that bio transition relatively easily here as well going forward. He'll probably go for a third command center first and then a couple more barracks. So it's going to be some Hellion into Banshee harass, the gold standard in this matchup. Although Clem does have 2 less Hellions at this point in the game. It doesn't really matter all too much. I mean, obviously more is better. However, I mean, you only need 3 of those Hellions to, like, one-shot a drone, right? So if you manage to sneak them in, it doesn't really make that much of a difference if you have 6 or if you have 4 of them. Well, he's going to have 6 now anyway. Okay, Cloak is going to finish up shortly here for the Banshee. Lair's about halfway done. Spore Crawlers are coming up. Okay, 1 at the third base as well here eventually. It takes 2 Banshee hits to one-shot, so he's actually hiding the drone right there instead of the extractor, keeping them alive. That is some tricky micro to actually pull off right there by Reynor. Probably not too happy with the early game situation so far, but as long as he doesn't take critical amounts of damage, this should be okay. Lair's going to finish up, and with that, the Baneling Nest as well, so he's going to be able to go into that Baneling speed upgrade relatively quickly. NG-bait timing here gets spotted as well by Reynor, and he sees the exact transition. Indeed, it's going to be barracks. There's another reactor coming up as well. Banshee's over here. 0 kills to their name so far. Yeah, so honestly, this is a good situation for Reynor to be in right now, even though it looked a little bit dire there. Yep. Even gets one of the Banshees sniped here too. This is looking A-okay right here for the Italian. Alright, now the problem is that Clem doesn't really need to deal damage in the early stages of the game. Like, there's a lot of players out there that are really good when they deal damage early on, right? Because then the mid-game timing attacks will just hit that much harder. The problem is that, well, the problem for Reynor at the very least, is that Clem doesn't really need to deal damage early on because he is more than comfortable playing mid-game, late-game, early game, all of it, right? So he can definitely play from an advantage, but he can also certainly play from a, you know, I guess in this case it's like an even state, but he can definitely also play from a disadvantage if he has to. Getting 8 worker kills here in total is not bad. It came at the expense of a couple of units though. Obviously you want to try and prevent those losses if you can. Creep threat looking pretty healthy as well. Reynor trying to like paint the map as I guess purple as he possibly can. I mean, it's a little bit purple. Yeah. I mean, it's not that purple in the game. It's purple on the minimap. I guess it's more grayish. Anyhow, there's some pushes you can go for on this map where you take control of the high ground as a Terran player, and then this base is quite difficult to hold on to. Reynor, instead of going for the 6 o'clock base, has decided to expand right here to the 3 o'clock, meaning that he's going to be able to yeah, defend that a little bit easier, assuming the creep spread is on point in all locations. Marines over here not going to be able to achieve too much, but I think it's time for some of Reynor's signature moves. Centrifugal Hooks is finishing up soon. That's the Baneling speed upgrade, and yeah, this is what made Reynor very famous a couple of years ago. He is absolutely relentless when it comes to the Ling Bane run-bys. Once upon a time, his late game wasn't that great. But he will pretty much always go for this Baneling speed opener that he went for in this game. Oh, I love it. Oh, good split. Yeah. He'll pretty much always bring out a little bit of shenanigans just like that. Good defense, though, here for Clem. But most weaker level Terran players, while they are busy microing the Hellions and as well as those, you know, Marines, they will generally speaking take a couple of SCV hits to the face. Which really sucks because then obviously you find yourself, while you're desperately trying to harass the Zerg, you find yourself in a really bad spot. So being aware of when Baneling speed finishes is super critical, but Clem was already more than prepared for it. He knew that this was going to happen. I mean, it's probably happened to him 100 times by Reynor himself. Not just in tournament games, but also, you know, in ladder matches. I don't know if these guys actually play that much ladder. Reynor doesn't seem to play that much ladder. Whenever he does, he's always very highly ranked, but I don't believe he's currently even ranked on the ladder. Like, basically, if you want to... Well, he's probably like ranked on the ladder, but he's not currently in Grandmaster League. So if you want to sit in Grandmaster League, you have to play 30 games every 3 weeks. And obviously, these guys will, you know, probably play at least like a dozen games a day. But a lot of that game... a lot of those games, rather, are being played in customs. Banelings, once again, trying to get some work done. Only 2 workers here. Not great. Marines, Mines, and Medivacs. Anything that starts with the M. We can add on Marauders as well if we really need to. Just because it starts with the letter M, obviously. Very critical. Queen over here will get picked off. And the creep spread over in this section of the map is not looking so hot. Once again, a Baneling roll-by. Trying to go into the 3rd base. Okay, a couple of the SCVs turned around. A handful of workers, really, though. Not really that bad. Hive is finishing up. Or, sorry, is starting up right now. Creep spread is really far out, but I mean... Clem is so freaking annoying with those medevac drops. Look at this. You were supposed to go to the low ground because that's what every single Terran player does. Picks up once again. I guess it's the picking up, right? That is, like, the most annoying part. Because now he'll come back in for more. Whenever he can pick up in time, he's gonna come back for more. And you have to dedicate units in that section of the map. Widow Mines, of course. One of the most annoying units as well here for the Zerg player. A couple of Marines will be killed. Looks like one of the Medivacs is gone too. Army over here will be picked up once more. And he gets out of there. Now, at this stage in the game, the supply count is supposed to look relatively even. Reynor's got a lot of money in the bank though. So maybe he missed a couple of queen injects here and there. Because, I mean, he's been forced to use those queens to put down new creep tumors. And, you know, to shoot down those Medivacs. He really needs to get his money down here, because if there's going to be an all-out assault when 2-2 finishes, which is right now, which is a very common timing attack here for Terran, he'll be in a lot of trouble. Widow Mine drop, 8 more drones end up going down. Medevac also gets picked off. Reynor almost trying to get for some, or trying to go for some lucky hits, it seems, but the Marine stutter step control there is really nice. Couple of Widow Mines here in the center of the map too, or the center of the Zerg side of the map. They're just gonna try and march on over towards that, oh god, really? They're trying to march on over right here to the mineral line. Drop over here. Oh my god, that one still got one more hit in, right as it was about to go down. Okay, so the Ultra Cavern comes up. Yeah, Reynor's still catching up. When you start falling behind, when the resources are not spent properly, you really just do a couple of cycles of good queen injects and you'll be able to drop that money, but it is going to take a minute or two before you can really get that money down efficiently. So I think +2 may have been a little bit late right there as well for the melee upgrades. Ultra Cavern comes up, and this is where Clem can start abusing some of that terrain, right? So if there's creep all over this section of the map, this kind of engagement is pretty much impossible for Clem to pull off. Since that is not the case, the base at the 6 o'clock position will just be killed. At the same time, though, huge counterattack here. Already, though, Clem has apparently evacuated that base entirely. The SCV seeking asylum right there in the natural expansion of the Terran player. Fair enough. Oh, beautiful splits there as well, though he does lose quite a few of those units in the end. Reynor trying to go for that Ultralisk transition here, but Ultras... Ooh, there's a lot of Widow Mines here. Okay, they will pretty much all be picked off. At the same time, Medivac drop inside of the main base. Looks like there's more Medivacs right now than bio units, though. So I guess all of these Marines have a private plane. If you can actually kill the... Oh, God, he's gonna be able to kill the spawning pool. Yep. I don't think Adrenal Glands was started up yet, so that's something. But without a spawning pool... Like, spawning pools actually take a long time to produce. He's making a new one right now, but... I guess it's just going to be Ultralisk here for a little while from the Zerg. Definitely something that the Terran player might be able to capitalize on as well. And so far, game number 1 has been all Clem. Now, he's only got 4 bases. 4 bases, not really that much. 5th CC is coming up. Reynor does still have a healthy amount of workers. Decent set of upgrades. So it's not like he's out of this game yet, but this is definitely Clem's game to lose at this point. There's an Ultra. Spotted right away here as well by Clem, who's already making Marauders. He's already going for a Liberator. Medevac Army. There's even already a Liberator out. Medevac Army moving on over towards the top right. Ling run by once again happening here. Maybe Reynor can finally deal some damage here, because he really hasn't been able to deal that much damage throughout this game at all. Finally, some of those workers end up going down. He really needs to start up Adrenal Glands, by the way, because without Adrenal... Like, without that Zergling speed improvement, yeah, not much is gonna happen. Anyways, he didn't have the money for it, and GG is cold. Yeah, and that's kind of what Clem does. Not really making any mistakes. That's how you play the matchup, guys. Just play faster, better, and don't make any mistakes. There you go. Those are some good rules to keep when you're trying to improve at StarCraft. Just don't mess up. No, but seriously, though, Clem played a very safe game number 1 there. Not going for the quick 3rd CC variant of that build, but just opening up with the classical 1-1-1. Hellions into Banshee into Marine Mine. I mean, does it really get any more standard than that? And honestly, like, Reynor took a little bit of damage here and there. Not really one huge moment, I don't think, either, where he really took a ton of damage. But none of his aggression worked out. Whereas Clem's aggression worked out here and there. A couple of worker kills there. A couple of worker kills here. And then eventually, like, the lead is massive. Alright, so what are we gonna do here? Oxide LE. Not the best map for Zerg. Lightshade definitely was Reynor's map pick. So, yeah, that's... yeah. Usually Lightshade is pretty good for Zerg. Oxide is pretty good for Terran. A lot of good siege tank positions on this map in particular. Could even play mech here. I've seen it happen a couple of times before, as well as on the Romanticide, but... Clem doesn't really, no. He's not really a mech kind of guy. I mean, maybe one day. He's really good with the bio units, though, so why would you play mech, right? Alright. What I'm trying to get at, though, is that if we're gonna play an identical game to game number 1, but on a map that's harder for Zerg, yeah, I don't think that's gonna go very well. Then again, if Clem shows that classical 1-1-1 with the really quick Banshee opener, right? You can't really go for like a Roach-based push or anything along those lines either. So what exactly is Clem gonna do here as a follow-up? Should be a factory here relatively soon. SCV Scout goes across the map here, spots exactly the timing of the natural expansion. 4 Zerglings, 2 Queens, a Reaper goes across. Should be a factory as a follow-up soon and then a reactor. There it is. Reactor is going to be placed right here between those 2 supply depots to create a perfect wall-off. Drone hiding over at the... drone hiding over at the 3rd base position. Reaper didn't know it was there because it's got blinders on and it doesn't have that much vision. Where does money go just now? Ah, okay. Maybe there's a little bit of a rally right there for that drone or something before it took the 3rd base. So there's the 3rd CC variant of the... Yeah, the same build, I think, that Clem is going to play again. So, in the previous game, he went Barracks, Factory, Starport, and then eventually a 3rd CC at like 4 minutes and 10 seconds. In this particular case, I guess it's going to be Barracks, Factory, 3rd CC into a Starport. So, all the roads eventually lead towards similar unit compositions, because 9 times out of 10 in the current meta... Very quick lair, by the way, here for Zerg. Did he actually... Ooh, he cancelled link speed. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that Terran unit good. He's still gonna get him, but at a different timing. 2nd gas comes up here as well for Clement. What's the deal here, Reynor? There is still a Reaper out. And I would love to see that Reaper jump up into the main base to have a quick little peek. Yeah, Zerglings want to prevent that from happening here, but Clem could definitely scout this. Oh, okay. It's a Roach Warren right now, and I guess... Nidus? Judging here by the Overlord? It should be a Nidus. That is so risky, though. Yeah, there it is. So we're only at 32 workers. We're at a whole load of Queens. No Zergling speed, which is something that you expect to see finishing at this point as well here for Clem. There is a little nuke here in the main base, though, and this is not something that Terran players normally scout for. Terrans have a tendency to put all of their structures close to each other, although he might accidentally lift up the CC right as the Nidus Worm is about to be put into the main. If he lifts the CC, he might just get a glimpse of this corner. Anyways, it's one dark spot. Clem right now scouts that there is no drone there. That's actually quite important. Usually when these Hellions come in, there should be at least one drone mining. Do you think he picks up on it, though? Or do you think his opponent is maybe just a little bit shaken after that very first game? Anyways, I think this is the chosen location. Ooh, Clem. Oh, God. Where's the Nidus? Hello. So the Banshee is moving out right now. It actually ran past the... Oh, my God. Did Reynor purposefully delay it there? He must have. Because he could have done that sooner, and I think he would have done that sooner. He probably knows the timing. Anyways, it does eventually get spotted here by Clem regardless. There's obviously going to be units in this thing, though. Queens in first. Yep, Queens in first. That means they pop out first as well. Is there transfusion energy? There is transfusion energy, but the... Oh my God, the high energy Queen was a little bit late. That being said, Overseer is available here as well, so obviously that's going to provide detection here for those Queens to work on that Banshee. Already quite a few workers have gone down, but I think you need to kill at least, like, I don't know, 25. There's triple command center with Mule. Those Mules will mine a ton of stuff. Already, though, 19 worker kills. Widow Mine available, too. So if you put the high energy Queen in first, and actually one of the Queens there with high energy ends up going down. If you put in the high energy Queens in first, they will pop out of the Nidus Worm first as well, so you can get yourself that that transfusion on the Nidus Worm off. I mean, obviously the plan was to not get it spotted at all, but pretty sure Reynor, though, did delay that on purpose just to make sure that the Banshee would not be at home. This Banshee, though, even though it's got only a couple of hit points to its name, it is getting a lot of kills, but it doesn't really matter. Too much damage has already been done. Is this really the way we're gonna play the series, though, Reynor? Because that felt very desperate, right? Like, I could try and play a game like that as well. against good players and have a real shot at winning. I would do something like that if I were playing against someone who's like 500 MMR above me on the ladder. I queue up a ladder game and I'm like, okay, well, this guy... if I win, I gain like 50 MMR. If I lose like 5, so I don't really care. I'll probably win more than 1 in 10 times with this sort of opener against that person, right? It feels a bit desperate. Now, obviously, it's a best-of-5 series. So you have to mix in a variety of builds. Reynor, in this particular instance, going for an early pool. So maybe he's got another trick up his sleeve. Anyways, if that's the way that people are gonna play against Clem now moving forward in this matchup, that would be something. He's rallying SCVs into that gas really quickly, by the way. Alright. Let us see exactly what Mr. Clem has for us in this particular game. We are, of course, on Blackburn. Relatively defensive map overall. As I've mentioned in previous casts, when this map was first introduced, it was quite heavily in favor of Terran, but these days it's considered to be a very good Zerg map. Took a little while before Zerg players found their swing on this map and the way that they were supposed to play it. Alright, so Clem is already gonna come up at 100 gas right here. With that, oh, he's gonna go straight into a reactor. I see. So this will be scouted pretty much immediately as well by Reynor. No Reaper. There's a Roach Warren already coming up. Oh, wow. This might actually backfire here for Clem. I mean, I think this is the 5 Roach opener. Pretty sure you got 21 Overlord. Yeah, so you go 19 Queen, 21 Overlord. I think he's going to rush out 5 Roaches. Morph one of them into a Ravager, then go into Link Speed. So this will be scouted maybe as well here by Clem, though. If this SCV makes it into the main... I don't think it will. Oh, if he gets into the main and it scouts the Roach Warren, that would be huge. Although it might be a little too late right now anyway. Okay, so there's 2 Roaches starting up. So usually what you do with this sort of build, if I'm reading this correctly here from Reynor, is you build 5 Roaches. And then you transition into just more drones. So you go like 5 Roaches right now, then 31 supply second Queen, and then 33 supply Overlord. So you should go for a Queen next. Yep, and then 33 supply Overlord. So what you do is you morph in 1 Ravager with the most forward Roach that you've got, and then you just try and pile on the pressure. So what exactly is Clem going to have on the back of this? Well, he's going to have a lot of Marines, but at this point I think he's just reading this as a standard pool into hatch build, which is a problem. That is a huge problem. Starport comes up eventually, but we really do need some sort of bunker. I mean, there's going to be 6 Marines out versus 5 Roaches and 4 Links. Well, I guess 4 Roaches and a Ravager and a Link. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good here at all for Clem. 1 Widow Mine available. Bunker on the high ground. That is good. I like that. Okay, so here comes the Zerg army. Can we split? Nice split there. Ooh, nice on burrow there too. Okay, well, that's actually fantastic right now for Reynor. That split was really good. The unburrow was really good, but then obviously eventually he got a little bit more in. If he wants to go all in with this, he could go for a second Ravager too. I think you're looking for at least 5 worker kills with this sort of build, though. So far, it's only 2. Keep in mind, this is quite a big commitment here as well by Reynor, right? It's not like he's, you know, got a big eco on the back of this. Eventually, he'll have a big eco, but I think with this opener, you want to look at least... If I remember correctly what Lambo said, who I believe... Maybe he's the one that came up with this build. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, I know he mentioned the build a couple of times in the past. I believe you want to kill at least 5 workers with this build if you want to be ahead. So now he's lost all those units. Obviously, he teched up into Roaches and everything too. This is not a bad situation actually for Terran right now. Once again, transitioning towards the Banshee. 3rd hatch comes up. Personally, I found on the ladder that even when you only deal like 3 SCVs worth of damage with this sort of opener, you still are in a pretty good position because... ladder heroes, right? People that I'm playing on the ladder and that you probably are playing on the ladder as well, they're not really too familiar as to what exactly they need to follow this up with, right? They're going to be thrown off their game quite a bit. The problem is I don't think Clem is going to be thrown off at all. Clem is like, yep, okay, let's go back to basics. Let's go back to what we always do. Stimp pack, combat shield. We'll go into Banshee Cloak, 3rd CC. timings are all going to be a little bit off, so it's easy to forget your, I don't know, NG Bay timing or something along those lines. One queen ends up going down here too, but nothing all too crazy. A couple of Hellions at the front will scout at the very least that a third hatchery has been acquired. God, I love the Terran music. Terran music is so nice in this game. Do you think the Terran 1 music or the Terran 2 music is better? Or sorry, like the Terran music in StarCraft 1 or the Terran music in StarCraft 2? Which one do you think is better? There's some insane nostalgia, right, with the original StarCraft 1 music. I think objectively, the quality of these, you know, songs is probably more complex or whatever. I don't really know too much about music theory, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. Careful now. Couple of Hellions. Yeah, ready to roast some drones. Here's the Hellbats as well added into the mix. Zerglings want to go in for the wraparound, but they see the Hellbat transition. Okay, we do definitely need some more roaches here, though, I think. Yeah. Medevac eventually did go down, so that's something. Luckily for the Zerg, there is a way for that creep to for the queen to retreat towards the high ground. 6 drones right there. End up going down. A little bit misrallied. They decided to go past that Evo chamber. 12 drones right now in total. And what seemed to be a relatively cool start right there for Reynor because his opponent did not scout it, turns out to be a good situation for Clem anyway. GG. The key in the defense right there for Clem, though, was definitely that bunker on the high ground, right? If he wouldn't have had that bunker, if for some reason he assumed that... like, if he would have gone for the bunker on the low ground, that would have been really bad. Because then all of the Zerglings would have been able to get in on that fight as well. And even though it's only 4 links, they deal quite a lot of damage. So the fact that Clem, like, decided to defend on top of the ramp rather than on the low ground, which I think most Terran players would probably favor the defense on the low ground instead. That was really good. I don't know if he saw the roaches up to that point in the game. I don't think he did. So it probably was just a blind bunker that started up inside of the main base. Which feels really funky, but obviously you can always salvage it if you really need to. It's only 25 minerals down the drain with like I guess a 100 mineral upfront payment. But maybe it's something he does against every pool first build, just in case, you know? Because it definitely did seem like the Zerg player was trying to hide something, right? When those 4 links went after the SCV, when it was in the Zerg's natural expansion. Anyways, our next game right here is on 2000 Atmos. 2K Atmos. It's a lot of pressure, man. We're deep under the sea. Hatch gas pool here from Reynor. Amazing. Standard timing this time around here for Mr. Clem. Reaper Man. There it is. SCV goes across the scout. This SCV mines minerals. And then builds a command center at 400. Now we go into the good old standard, right? Factory. Marine. Or Marine first. Factory. Reactor. Depots. The whole shebang. So Reynor has played Tricks 2 games in a row. At this point, it's match point here for Clem. What exactly are we going to do? Are we going to hide a drone at the 3rd base at all? Okay, now we just have a really quick link speed, and he decides to actually pull all the drones out of gas, which is quite interesting. Normally we leave at least 1, or we pull them off at 60 gas. So this is a mineral-focused army right now, but with a very quick link speed opener. Triple CC start here for Clem once again. Yeah, it looks like Clem has a couple of builds that he's just really comfortable with. Either the triple CC start or the classical 1-1-1. It's basically the same thing. I mean, I've seen him go for double barracks as a follow-up as well to this situation, which is also quite good, but... Oh, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Okay. Hey, thank you very much for making me look smart, Clem. Appreciate that, man. He does go for the double barracks here, rather than the quicker starport. He did have the minerals and gas right there for the starport, but... Clem making me sound smart. I appreciate that, dude. Even though these games were played, I think, late August. Nah, it doesn't really matter. So he's added one drone back in gas eventually. Yep. I guess this drone was going to be rally 2. Yeah, so we're slowly fitting the workers back into the gas. Link speed is done nice and quickly here. Hellions, though, will be available. So the Reaper stays alive for now. The difference here with this opener here from Clem is that he can pump out way more Marines. So eventually the starport comes up. He's probably going to add on another reactor here shortly on the factory once it finishes that final Hellion. But basically you pump out Marines, you get yourself stimp back out at a much more respectable time. So normally when you go for the 1-1-1 opener, either with triple CC or with, you know, whatever. Yeah, your stimp back upgrade is quite late. This allows you to get the stimp back upgrade a little bit quicker. So it's like the 16 Marine drop that we have seen many times back in the day, right? That's a build that's kind of fallen out of favor. This is like that 16 Marine drop, but then with a third command center on the back of it. So the 16 Marine drop with stimp pack and 2 medivacs usually hits right around 5 minutes and 15 seconds on the side of the Zerg. So it kind of depends on how good the Terran player executed it and how large the map is. In this particular case, though, I mean, Clem is not going to obviously get it out as quickly, but he's going to have a third CC on the back of it instead. So, like, that's a very significant set of improvements. Yep. So it's going to hit, I don't know, a half minute later or so, but with a third CC. And obviously the nice thing about the 16 Marine opener, right, or, you know, that Stimpack opener that I was trying to mention, is that it still is very safe against a lot of Zerg all-ins. So the reason why a lot of Terran players were playing that build back in the day, or one of the reasons, is that not only can you deal pressure to the Zerg side of the map, you can also not die to stupid stuff. So most of the Zerg aggression hits at about 5 minutes into the game, be it like Roach all-ins or Bingling Bus, right, which was popular back then too. You finish up Stimpack basically right as that, you know, happens. So yeah, in this particular instance as well, we saw Clem finishing up that Stimpack upgrade nice and early. It's not very relevant for this game, but since there's nothing to talk about in the early game either, I figured I should give you the details. Free Overlord. Couple of creep tumors maybe. Yep, there you go. That's a little bit too ambitious. Clem going back in there, expecting the creep tumors to be planted again, so he's ready to replace those. 1 queen goes down, 2 queens. Nope, not quite. That did cost him a second stim. Jimmy, get into the plane. Never mind, Jimmy just wanted to run to the watchtower. Bailing speed, once again. Finishing up, just like we saw in game number 1. Will this time around, Reynor actually be able to get any sort of damage in? He hasn't really taken any damage yet, by the way. Already at a very healthy amount of workers. Bailing speed finishing up in 8 seconds. Yeah, he's just waiting a little bit. Checking right here if the upgrade is done. If he started at all. Okay. It's done. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. You can go, dude. Yeah. So obviously it wants to hit while the Terran player is busy. Microing different section of the map. And this is what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so now we're playing game number 1, but with a Zerg advantage. Unless he loses the base here. You really don't want to lose the base here. Oh, God. Problem is, in this case, Reynor decided to go for not like 2 fourth bases, right? So not like a fourth over here and then like a quote-unquote fourth over here on the right too. He decided to go for a macro hedge together with a fourth. I much prefer the one where you go for like 2, you know, fourth bases, as funky as that sounds. Just in case you lose one of them, you can then continue droning. Right now, it's an awkward scenario where apparently Reynor decides to just hold down the Zergling key. He is finishing up 1-1 here, so maybe he can go for a timing attack. He's going to have way more units, but far less workers than you normally have at this stage. Guess there was a Widowmine explosion. Anyways, he's going to have a large army. What are you going to do with it, though? Yeah, Clem ready to keep his opponent very busy. Oh. Couple of Marines end up slipping through the cracks over here, too. So that's actually really good for Reynor. Eventually, I guess that base will finish up again, but 2-2 starts up. 10 more Zerglings are... How many Zerglings are we on? 59? Actually expected us to have a couple more than that. Saddest moment in this series. Brenda gets picked off. Floats to the surface of 2000 Atmos. Alright. Draw me like one of your French girls. I would definitely draw Brenda. Yeah, I would definitely draw Brenda. 100%. Okay, here come the Lings and Banes, though, on the other side of the map. SCV is nowhere to run. At the same time, up north at the 12 o'clock base. Oh, it did finish up, and now a bunch of Banelings also finish up basically where the Marines were located. You blink once, Terran army's on the other side of the map because that's kind of what Clem does. And 24 SCVs end up going down. Not enough reinforcements to actually deal with all of those Zerg units. That is now a huge amount of damage. Fourth base is still up as well here for the Zerg player. So now we're talking 4-base Zerg. Versus, well, 2, I guess. With 4 command centers for the Terran. I mean, he's only got workers for 2 bases anyway. Mules are pretty good, though. Maybe can grab a couple of Zerglings here as well for free. That'd be nice. Most of them seem to be able to get out of there. Lings and Banes, once again, running through the center of the map. 6 o'clock position, not happening. There is a Widowmine, but it's a little bit out of reach. Expecting those Lings to come in from the different side. Very nice split right there, once again, by Reynor, making sure that he doesn't lose a lot of units there for free. 2-2 is also now in line here for the Zerg player with 2-2 for the Terran. Hive is done? No, Hive is not started. Oh, wow. Okay. That turns this into a funky all-in, though. If Clem can hold on for a little while longer... Huge Widowmine hit over here, by the way. If Clem can hold on for a little while longer... He's gonna be in a pretty good spot. Okay, well, you do need to make sure you don't lose even more SCVs, though. Because he's been happily rebuilding some of those workers, but, oh, wow. Wait. I'm backing off. Did he just lose? So this is before those Banelings rolled in. Did he just lose the 4th CC? No. No. Clem, really? I've been hyping you up, my man. Okay, so this is where the Banelings go in. No. Really? Even Reynor right there can't really believe his luck. He's like, wait a second. Let me just blow up a couple Banelings, see how it goes instead. He was already re-rallying those Zerglings, expecting a lift-off, but if you don't lift, you have about 5 seconds to do so. Here come the leftover Banes. Yep. Yeah, I think this may have been a little bit too much damage right now by the Zerg. I don't get why he doesn't have Hive, though. I guess he started up the Burrow upgrade, and he's kind of, like, committed to the Burrow upgrade. It's not like Terran can really afford 3-3 here either, but Zerg kind of can. I mean, he's only got 69 workers. It's not that many. Well, now he's got a couple more, but... Yeah, it's not like Zerg has a ton of eco either. This is still a couple of bad Baneling hits, though. Bad for the Zerg, that is. A couple of good for the Terran Baneling hits, away from still being something he can definitely win. Army-wise, Terran has still got a lot of stuff. Running Claw's not done yet, so he can't really, burrow these units to safety. At the same time, Widowmine over here trying to get some work done. Once again, pretty good splits. Yep, very nice splits, even killing a couple of the SCVs there. Baneling, Baneling landmines also being used here. Reynor! Hey! Giving his opponent a taste of his own medicine. Clem is forced to GG out. Romanticide for a game 5? Romanticide is pretty much always the heavy macro map. Oh, alright. I'm taking a sip of my drink. Yep, I'm ready, dude. Let's go. 13 Overlord? Wow. Supply Depot is... wow. Everything excites me now. Everything's exciting. When you get a game number 5 between Reynor and Clem. Alright. So game number 1, like game number 1 and game number 4 were kind of similar, right? Like they were kind of the same. Game number 1 though just had a bunch of like mistakes from the Zerg player. And game number 4, you know, very similar game but had a bunch of mistakes from the Terran player. And they spiral out of control over the course of like 5 to 10 minutes or so, where like one player grabs an advantage, and even though they can't really close out the game just yet, they can kind of just like get that tempo lead, right? You can kind of see like 1 step is taken, and then 2 steps are taken, and eventually they climb to the top of the mountain. Takes a little while, but that tempo lead is absolutely massive in this particular matchup. When as a Terran player, you deal some damage on the other side of the map, you get a kill on a base, you kill some of that creep, right? Eventually, it doesn't allow you to win the game straight up, but eventually you create a chokehold on your opponent. That's kind of what we had in that previous game. It really started with the Baneling roll, though, right? Like when the Banelings first rolled in, that's one of the main reasons. Were there 3 SCVs here on that mineral patch earlier? I guess one of them may have shifted. Anyways, that's one of the main reasons why Zerg players like to go for that very quick lair. Not only do you get yourself like that Overseer out for mobile detection, and you get Baneling speed out for, you know, those bio pushes really early on. But you can deal some damage on the other side. So if you're opening up with that Baneling speed upgrade, highly recommend you try and roll in, I don't know, 8 or so of those Zerglings that you morph into Banelings. Not a bad idea. Alright, so once again, Reynor finishing up the pool with the hatch. Standard opener, double queen, 4 Zerglings. Nothing out of the ordinary. Reaper goes across the map. Expecting to see a drone heading on over towards either this direction or the low ground pretty soon. Seems like most of the Korean players are still favoring this, whereas most of the European Zergs are going for this. Doesn't really matter all too much, I don't think. Actually, I say that. I haven't really been paying very close attention to it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we have settled on one of them being better than the other. Can we please send that drone over there? Thank you. Alright. Pesky little Reaper over here. Clem is really good at that Reaper. Isn't it? Like, oh, God. Micros with, like, no health. Stops command at the correct moment as well, so he can get maximum damage in. But never really loses the Reaper and still gets 3 kills over here. Like, if he gets 3 Zergling kills and he loses the Reaper... That's the caster curse, right? That's bad, is what I was going to try and say. That's not what you want. Here I am, Clem. Very disrespectful of you, Clem. Here I am, complimenting your play style and how good you are with that Reaper. And then you lose it for no apparent reason at all. Brenda and Karen just, you know, hanging out in the ramp. Oh, well. Benchy opener? What? It's almost like Stargates now in Zerg versus Protoss, right? So unexpected. I guess the big difference, though, is that, you know, the Ooh, okay. You know what? I kind of like it. Reynor right there saw the green light. Well, he did, I'm pretty sure. Did he? Ooh, did Clem actually cancel it too soon? So I believe you have like a half second or so of vision. Oh, he's gonna check. Zergling? Well, now he knows. He can't see it. Can he see the little green light? I'm not sure. Guess it doesn't really matter all too much. You can delay spores though against a non-benchy opener. He'll probably still add on spores at like 4:30 or so. Ooh, hello. Okay. Evo chamber block right there to prevent his Hellions from going in that direction. 2 queens inside of the main base as well. A couple of Zerglings here available. Morlings are coming up. Reynor, why do we have to always cut it so close, man? You can just make 4 more Zerglings early on. I know that this is probably better, but I like, you know, it's like a butt-clenching moment every time. You're like, I want to see the entire mineral line go down, my man. Actually, I kind of do, because you know, I'm a masochist. What can I say? But anyways, yeah, I guess 4 Hellions right there at the exchange of a couple of Zerglings and 3 drones is worth it. Here's the Raven, man. I guess Reynor did see it. Yeah, 3 shooting drones. Oh, he transfused it. Ah, man, he wanted to set it back a little too early. Transfusing a drone. Not what we see most of the time, but... Anyways. Apparently those couple of Hellions lost were not that big a deal. NG Bay follow-up, double barracks follow-up. Stimpack as well, so... Even though this is a map where you can definitely play mech if you want to. Clem apparently just going for the good old standard. The good old faithful. Can't blame him. Oh. Feel like I've seen this before. Deja vu in the same game. 2 queens in the main base. Oh, wow. Okay, Zerglings are actually on the other side of the map right now. This is a little bit funky. Lings will eventually finish to clean all of these Hellions up, I suppose. Zork has done 6 SCV kills, plus I guess a couple of Marines. 3 Marines in total. Alright. What a miss. Problem is, though, there's no Banshee here, right? The Raven is out, but, I mean, it needs to be repaired back up. This is, I think, a pretty good situation for Reynor, all things considered. Despite the fact that he just lost a ton of workers. He's not really going to have that much harassment anymore for the next couple of minutes. The creep spread shoot. Hello. Where are we going? Really? Are we marching? No. I was going to say, that makes no sense. The creep spread should be mostly unhindered here for the next couple of minutes. Meaning that, like, follow-up pushes here in the mid-game are going to be quite tough. The problem when you give those Hellions away, or, like, you know, quote-unquote, give them away, you don't really have a way of pushing back the creep very efficiently. And, I mean, you can obviously do so with Marines, but then the creep is going to spread on the other side, right? Like, you can split up the Medivacs here as well to try and prevent it on both sides, but it's much easier to do so with a group of Marines and then a group of Hellions, too. Yeah, so now the creep should be able to continue spreading in this direction and also up north. So I think this is a very good situation for Reynor here regardless. I mean, not very good maybe, not perfect, but definitely not bad. Ooh. Is this what I think it is? Bailing speed is finishing up again. This map doesn't really allow for as easy of a roll by, I suppose, because there's only one real big lane. I mean, there's the other one over here too, but that one's already walled off. There's only really one big direction that the Zerg player, or the Terran player rather, has to worry for. Yeah, it's gonna be a Dropper Lord together with a Veiling drop. Alright. Clem. Still doing some damage, though. Okay. Go on, Mr. Ovi. Fly the Zerg to liberty. Widowmine drop. Coming right up. Bio Army continues harassing up north as well. Bailing drop, though, heading on over in the natural expansion of the Terran player. Is Clem paying attention? Is Clem paying attention? He's not. He's not. Okay. Widowmine drop. Widowmine drop. Is Zerg paying attention? Is Reynor paying it? Is Reynor He's not. He's not. Oh, God. There's one Widowmine still, bro. Okay. Man, this is a game of deja vu. Oh my God. That is one beautiful choke point right there for those Terran Marines. Hugging the Evo chambers like they're friends. Okay, eventually all of those bio units, though, do get cleaned up by a couple of roly-poly Banelings. Creep does continue spreading. Zerg only at 66 drones. Oof, I expected to glance down at the bottom of the screen and see at least like 75. Yeah, if you are below 70 at this point, I actually don't really like this situation too much here for the Zerg player. That Raven, by the way, where is it? It's Raven around some... Oh, it's... Never mind. The queens. Some of the queens at least go down. This base has been acquired as well by the Zerg. Now it's gonna be all Clem again, though. Like, there's no real counter-harassment possible on Romanticide, or not very easily possible anyway. So I'm expecting Clem to be in the driver's seat of this game for at least a little while. And he's got an awful lot of units over here. Clem taking a decisive 30 supply lead as well. Can he split against those Banelings? Yes, he can. Sure he can. Not a problem. Eventually the Lings do come back home as well, so they're gonna be able to clean this up. 4CC on the low ground, morphs into a planetary fortress. Clem trying to see if he can finish up the hatchery. He'll probably get it, though, with counter pushes later on as well if he doesn't get it right now. Planetary Fortress is going to finish up right in time, if I'm not mistaken here, if the Zerg is not paying attention. I mean, it's still going to be halfway done. Ooh, okay, he lifts up the Marines once again. Banelings, or sorry, Widowmines and Zerglings there, they do split. Bio Army once again on the low ground. Banelings over here get cleaned up as well in the Natural Expo. And the Planetary does indeed finish up unharmed. Hatchery goes down. We're talking 4 base versus 4 base now. Clem being 30 supply up on his opponent, or 20-something supply right now. Widowmine over here, constantly retargeting. It's like, hey guys, come back. Come back here, guys. Very beautiful split. Man, I don't like invisible mines, dude. It's so hard to deal with. Maybe that's some Zerg bias coming in, but... Widowmine's one of the most annoying units in the game for sure. I can't tell you the amount of times I've lost, you know, all my stuff to a couple of Widowmines. Unless Reynor can get a huge collapse on his army, and I love this. Clem burrowing those Widow Mines in the best positions there. Getting so much damage though with the mines. Like, he knows where the Zerg army is gonna come from, right? So most weaker Terran players kind of assume that there's weaker, you know, their weaker Zerg opponent is also gonna send in all the units from one angle. But Clem is anticipating in advance where the Zerg is gonna run from. He's positioning the Widow Mines, just a couple of them, on the most likely, like, surround locations. And then eventually, one or two of them will connect and a Zerg, like a huge Zerg detonation happens. It's, yeah, it's really the Widow Mines that give him this insane cost efficiency. Beautiful moves here by Clem. Fifth command center. 6 CC even starts up, but 5th command center flying on over towards the right side of the map. It's gonna morph into a planetary 2, I would imagine. Meaning that there's gonna be 2 anchors right there for the Zerg player, or for the Terran player rather, to fall back to. Zerg has now secured the 5th again, but only for a little bit, as it does get killed. Oh, he unbarrows the mine. He's so obnoxious with the middle mines. I love it. Alright. Reynor trying to see if he can potentially go for a counterattack, but look at this. Clem is already ready, man. Clem is everywhere. It helps if you have 40 supply lead on your opponent, right? You can just, yeah, dedicate more units over here. This is basically that entire 40 supply worth of stuff. Oh my god. Beautiful. 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 Really well done. Couple of empty medivacs as well. Just trying to threaten up here. Okay, now finally there's a bit of a mistake there from the Frenchman. Loses 2 medivacs worth of units, it seems, but he's already powering out new supply. Bailings right there get traded for Widow Mines, which is, oh god, not a good situation to be in. The creep is nowhere to be seen anymore either. I'm not entirely sure how that Widow Mine got 13 kills just now, because that had an extremely long arm. He's he's microing the bio army here off creep against Ling Bane, and this is something Clem can keep up all day, every day. Microing against Banelings on creep, super hard. Off creep, still very hard, but definitely a lot more doable. Okay, maybe he's overstayed his welcome a little bit, though. Reinforcing Terran units do arrive eventually, it seems. One cheeky little Marauder over here, just forcing some of that Zerg attention away as well. Medivacs are rallied everywhere. Yeah, he doesn't want to give up this position right now, this chokehold on the 4th base of the Zerg. Bottom left-hand corner has also been acquired here by Reynor, but Reynor apparently, yeah, this base is cut off, right? Once that base is cut off, the bottom left corner is also gone. There's no way he's really going to be mining from that, I don't think. Okay, Bailings once again hoping for a lucky connection. Marauders in the front, Widow Mines in the back. Marines splitting to the best of their abilities. Clem is absolutely tearing through Reynor. And with that, he is the one who obtains the victory. I hope you enjoyed watching this series. If you did, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications as soon as future videos go live. Today, I also want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for the generosity. If you're interested in some of the perks, you can head on over to patreon.com/LowkoTV. There's a link down below in the description of this video. But for now, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.